So in Python, there are actually 4 ways to write strings. Unlike most computer languages, which only have one, you can write strings in at least 4 different ways in Python, which is really interesting and actually very useful. Well, first of all, you can write a string by putting whatever text you want, whatever text you're going to print or display, put it in single quote marks. The quotation, that is the string, will start with the first single quote mark it sees. It will go all the way until it sees another single quote mark. However, you can also do the same thing with double quote marks. So again, it will start with a double quote mark. It will go all the way until it sees another double quotation mark, and everything in between will be the string. Now, most languages you can do either one or the other. Python, you can do both. People sometimes think, oh, it has to be one or the other. No, you can use it interchangeably in Python. There are pros and cons of each method, as I'll describe. You can also do triple quote marks. This would be a single quote mark repeated 3 times, and it will enable you to get all the text into that string until it sees the next series of triple quote marks. And this is called a literal quote mark. It's very, very useful, and one of the advantages of it is that it automatically allows you to span any number of lines. It also allows you to include almost anything in that literal quote. Finally, there's a raw string which preserves all the characters as they are, including backslashes. That's something that becomes very important in regular expressions. We won't cover that in this course at this time. So we're going to focus on the first 3 ways of writing a string. So why would you use one or the other? Why would you use single quote marks or double quote marks to create text? Well, if you use single quote strings, you can embed double quotes inside the text string itself. So if you want to say, I am the walrus, said Paul, and you want double quotation marks as part of the text string, you can do that with single quotes. Conversely, if you have a double quoted delimited string, you can put in a single quote mark in there and it's fine. But with literal quotations, using the literal quote marks, you can actually have both plus have multi-lines. Now, the important thing to remember is these are all Python strings, and they don't actually change the string itself. It just gives you different choices as to what you can do in terms of embedding other quote marks. And you won't always need to embed quote marks, but sometimes you might want to. There's also another way to deal with the problem of embedding single quote marks or double quote marks. You can use a backslash to create what's called an escape sequence. And one of the purposes of the backslash is to remove the special meaning of the character it precedes. So if you want a single quote mark inside a quotation mark delimited by single quotes, you can use a backslash. So here we're using the backslash to say that there's a single quote mark that is actually part of the string. It's not actually ending the string. Now, quotation marks are one thing. You can also use escape sequences to create special meaning. Say with the n, you can use \n to put a new line in there. So with this second quote text string we have here, we can actually create a string that spans 3 lines. Because every time it sees \n, it will actually put what's called a new line in there. If you print it, it will print out over 3 lines. Another thing I want to point out about quotation marks is they're not part of the string itself. The quotation mark is simply part of how I represent the string inside Python code. It doesn't matter whether I use a single quote mark or a double quote mark. The quote marks do not become part of the string. They just become a way of representing it within the program. So let's talk about some special properties of text strings. Text strings are a whole new area. If you haven't used them before, they're much more versatile in some ways than numbers. Remember that we use strings in order to represent actual text we're going to print on strings, so we have to use them to communicate with human beings. Computers love to deal with numbers, but we might want to actually communicate with a human. And the nice thing about strings is they automatically have whatever space they need. There are certain languages such as C where you have to say, oh, I only have 10 characters or I only have space for 100 characters. You have to figure out ahead of time how much space you need. Not true in Python at all. Python will always allocate whatever space is needed for the string. I don't even have to think about that. Another nice thing about strings is I can concatenate them. Use the plus sign. It doesn't add them numerically, but I can create one text string out of 2. For example, if I say S equals banana plus fish, it will create the word banana fish. And by the way, it will not put a space in unless I specify a space. So it's like the J.D. Salinger short story, Banana Fish. It will be banana fish, one word in this case. The string class, which is represented as str, if I want to get help on it, it supports a great many methods, and we'll look at a few of these in this lesson. There's the upper method, which will produce an all uppercase string, the lower method, which produces an all lowercase string. We'll also look at strip. And finally, this is a part that's going to be a little bit tricky, but you do need to understand to be a real Python programmer, which is that strings are immutable. And this means you can't actually change string data itself. You must create an entirely new string and reassign it. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to do things that look like we're getting around this rule but actually obey it. And here's an example of this. These next few lines of code, it looks like I'm creating new string data by changing old string data. I'm actually not doing that. And to understand Python, you really need to understand this point because it's important. So I start out by saying s equals quote big space quote. So I've used single quotes to create a text string, which is a series of characters of any size. And I'm using my naming conventions. I'm using s to represent a string, but I don't have to, because remember, s is not declared to be a string. S is a string because I assigned a string to it. But this next statement or two, it's really very interesting, because then I say s equals s plus string ugly. Now, am I changing the string data? It looks like I am, but I'm not. Because if I was actually changing the string data, Python would complain. It says you cannot change a string. A string is immutable. But here's the trick. It's not changing string data. What it's doing is it's using the first value of s, which remember is quote big quote, and then it's concatenating it with another string. It's creating a whole new string. So it's producing a whole new string, and then it's reassigning to s. So it says s has this completely new value. You're not changing string data, you're just changing what s means. Very counterintuitive if you come from like the Java world or the C world. Does it again, it says s is now reassigned again, assign a new value that includes the string fish. You put it all together, let's print it. So we say print, open print, s, close print. What will it do? It will print big, ugly fish. And again, it works not because we're changing string data, but we're simply reassigning s a new value over and over and over. Very important point in Python. Now, another thing you can do with strings is you can call one of the many, many methods that strings support. There's so many methods supporting by the string class, I would take hours to list them all and talk about them all. So this course, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about a very few. One of the methods supported by all strings is called the format method. A simple way to use that is to come up with a format string. And a format string uses the open and close curly brace to represent a field. And to each one of those fields, I have an argument, which becomes an argument for format. And this gives me a lot of flexibility in printing formatted strings. You can see in this case, I've got the arguments 1, 2, and 3, and they are printed in the respective fields. And so I print out 1 plus 2 equals 3, period. There's some other things I can do with string. One thing that is emphasized on the exam is that there are string operators that include both the is keyword and double equal sign. Now the is keyword I recommend you don't use very often. What the is keyword does, I can test two strings by saying s1 is s2, and that will return true or false. What that tests for is whether those two variables refer to the same object in memory. So if I say s1 equals s2 equals dog, or rather, I'm doing assignment there, remember, so I'm saying s1 assign s2 assign dog. It should assign the exact same data, the same place in memory to both those variables. Does it have the same content? Of course, a thing has the same content as itself. But if I test by saying s1 is s2, it's going to come back true only if it's the same object. Now, I'm recommending you don't use that very often because usually you don't really care whether it's the same exact object. Usually what you care about is whether the content matches, regardless of where it came from or where it's stored. And that's our old friend equal equal. So remember, equal equal is the test for equality. Usually what I will want to do is I'll have two strings, string 1 equal equal, string 2. It will come back true if the content is the same. So what I'm recommending you do in almost every possible case is use equal equal. I wouldn't use is in particular, but you would use is if you really care if it's the same exact object. Equal equal is saying they're two different objects, but if they have the same content, I'm going to return true. Some other cool things you can do with C, or rather strings, Python strings, is you can compare them. And strings can be the subject of greater than, less than, greater than or equal, et cetera, et cetera. Now, how does it compare to strings? Well, this is called code page order. That's something you don't really need to understand too well. If you're just using the English language, you're not using Unicode, this is essentially an alphabetical comparison. So Abe comes before Brian, therefore Abe is less than Brian. But the only tricky thing here is that all the capital letters come before all the lowercase letters, counterintuitive, but all the capital letters come before all the lowercase letters in the code page order, but otherwise it's just an alphabetical comparison. Let's summarize what we know about strings. So we learned a few things. There are at least 3 ways, there's actually 4 ways, but 3 ways we're dealing with in this lesson. There are at least 3 ways of writing a string in Python. Double quotes, single quotes, literal quotes done with the triple. And it doesn't really matter which you use, except it determines how easily you can embed other kinds of quote marks. But they all produce strings. You can also use the backslash to embed quotes. That's another way to do it. And again, the tricky thing with strings, and I think this is really worth understanding because otherwise you don't understand Python. Strings are immutable. You cannot actually change string data, but you can take the name of a string and then keep assigning new string data to it. And this gets around the problem because in effect you are building new strings.